Hello, it's me. I was wondering if after all these years you'd like to meet.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of CorbinCenter. So stop to, we go to the Moines old stomping ground for you. But first, you have a match with Jordan, who's been picking up some steam at F1rst Wrestling. You two are no strangers to each other. You've wrestled at Time Bomb before. Tell us a little bit about how this match went. I mean, you already had an all-you-can-eat buffet, you crazy kid. But how did this match go for you?
Funny story, Des Moines was actually supposed to be myself versus Eric Cannon again. Now, I have no problem with it not, or being Jordan, that's fine. So we got up at 8 a.m. We had to be there at noon for this, and like I said, there's no easy way to get to Des Moines. But one thing that I really enjoyed, this is like, I don't know if this is the adult me or like the fair-skinned, pale, the sun's my enemy me. But I learned from the Taste of Minnesota. I got one of those bucket hats that I could put on, and I got one of those, neck. I've talked about this before, but I've got one of those neck coolers that you wring in the water, both of them, and you wring them out, and they keep you cool. And it made a lot of difference. I felt like I was 15, 20 degrees cooler when I was out there because it got warm, and there was so much going on at this event. I'll talk about that in a second, but the match itself against Jordan, one of my favorite things, this is what I have to share about it. So one of my favorite things was this. Apparently, they were going to try and do theme music. Now, again, my version of Adele is not exactly commonplace. You can't really find it. But there was a DJ there who was super excited about playing music. And so John Manning asked me, he goes, they're going to try and do theme music in the match before me, which I believe was Blair and Maggie. They decided that, they were going to try and find it. So I said, why don't I just come out to Adele? It's fine. But I guess he couldn't find it or find a version of it on maybe Spotify. I don't know. I haven't gotten searching for it in a long time. So this DJ, who in my mind is a typical DJ, like everything that you would be like, he's at a club or he's out or he's trying to find a club gig, typical DJ. So I guess when he couldn't find it, he started panicking and he was like, so what's his vibe? What's his vibe? And whatever Manning described. There's a door leaving the locker room, which is the back of the brewery, so there's a door leaving there. And all of a sudden I hear, "The world is a vampire." And I'm like, what? And I look through this window in the door, and the DJ's like, so whatever John Manning told him, apparently Smashing Pumpkins, Bullet with Butterfly Wings, is my fucking vibe. I've never wrestled for the NWA. I never wrestled for Resistance Pro when Corgan was there. I have no idea how this was supposed to work. So anyway, I'm coming out and I just start fucking laughing because I'm like, what the? I was like, and the DJ's so pumped about it. And then my favorite is when Jordan came out. Jordan came out and they played his music, but the DJ tried to do the part where he would turn it down so the fans could react for the yes we can, and that part's already in the song. Like that's already there. But our match itself is good. Jordan's one of those competitors. Like I said, he's been on a hot streak, and Jordan's been one of those competitors who I get to have like kind of a more rougher match or one that you wouldn't normally see. And I think the dynamic for here in Des Moines was a little different because the fans, while there's wrestling in Des Moines, I don't think that they were the commonplace for the Des Moines match, but they react on things that they're familiar with, such as when I won the match, had my feet on the rope. I don't apologize for cheating, so don't come at me with that. But we had a good match. We threw a couple back and forth forearms, a lot of kicks, a lot of all that stuff. Probably not as much as the one that he had against Brian Keith, but let me just say I pulled off the victory, made myself 1-1. It was a fun match.
Well, that's great. And as I mentioned, you're in your old stomping grounds. They're feeding you. They're taking care of you. You had a great time. You had an awesome time here. I mean, like, I've seen some of the clips that you posted and some of the stuff that you did. So why don't you share, like, how Lua and some of the places treated you? I mean, like, I feel like you got treated like, like a star.
I really got to hand it to them. This is something that I really appreciate. So the bar made a tab for us, which was awesome. They were doing an all-you-can-eat buffet, and the food was amazing. Now, all-you-can-eat buffets are my downfall before shows. I try and be good. I've been trying to do it where I carb up the night before, so I'm not hungry to try and force myself to eat. But, you know, you get hungry, and you got to eat, and I bloat up. That's the thing. I bloat and I have a gut, and that's whatever. I'm working on it, but it's whatever. But anyway, they had mac and cheese, sliders, all this stuff, and they were coming around. There's people on roller skates. I tried to record this. There were the local roller derby were coming around with trays for like appetizers that you could just take and be like, do you want this? Do you want this tuna crostini? Do you want this salad in a cup? Easy. So the food is really good, and that was at 2. And the show's at 6, so you'd think you'd have a lot of time to digest that, but they opened up a tab, and the great thing about when you are straight edge, a lot of times, like, the tab is easy for you. So, you know, like, they're just like, oh, I'll get that. So, and I always try and tip well. That's the biggest thing. I always make sure I try and tip so that they know. And then there was a food truck there, and there was a guy by the name of Alex who was running this food truck, and I can't for the life of me remember what the food truck is called, but he was making smash burgers in there. So I had one after my match, and Alex was like, look, whatever you guys want, I'll put it on a tab. And that was awesome. And then at the end when we were tearing down, he came over, he's like, how many guys are in your crew? We were talking about how he trained to be a wrestler for a little bit, moved to California, and then came back. And the deal was he said, like, I want to take care of your crew, I want to make things right. And we're like, what do you mean you want to make things right? This is awesome already. What you're doing is awesome already. So, he ended up making a box of smash burgers for us, and they were great. They were amazing. I would have done a, like Darren does, dining on it, but it's so tough when you're in the moment getting food for food trucks. So, there's that. But anyway, the one thing that did kick in where I thought I was going to be in trouble is because of the way that this worked with travel, I was driving home by myself back up, and I've done Des Moines trips. It's a straight shot. It's just straight up 35. So, like I said, I listened to Cultaholic, and I did that, and but I thought the burgers might put me into a coma, so I stopped at a Quick Trip or Quick Star, whatever they're called, and I got an iced coffee and ice, like actual malt or chocolate shake coffee, and I got a blackberry lemonade, which I really like from there. And honestly, I did really well. I got to basically like Elko, and then I started feeling tired, but when you're that far, you feel like you're in the final stretch. So I felt great. I felt really good. Everything was good. Again, my body's feeling better, but I got to meet, for example, so many nice people. One guy who called me Steve the Pirate ended up buying me a drink, talking to me about wrestling. Mike, who comments on all my YouTube stuff, I got to meet him in person. He's followed me since I was coming down from for 3XW a long time ago. And then I ran into an old buddy, Aaron, who wrestled at 3X. So it was great to see, and it sounds like Des Moines wants to have us back, and I would love to go back. Not a lot of times where I say I would be happy to go to Iowa, but in this case I am. So it was a great trip overall.
Well, look, in my mind, you deserve the world. And I've said that since day one, and that's why we're here. That's why we're here. But you picked up the victory. You're 1-1. Now we go to the rubber match as you come back to Minneapolis after that drive by yourself. So stay tuned, and we'll talk about returning to the Uptown VFW on the next CorbinCenter.